All right, welcome back to Photoshop. So today we're going to take a look at a series of quick keys. Now, quick keys are wonderful inside of Photoshop. They really speed up everything you're going to do and just make the program work a whole lot more efficiently. Now, the quick keys we're going to take a look at are not some of the odd quick keys that you'll most likely never use. These are quick keys that I think are the most valuable inside the program as a working photographer. Over the last couple days, I've created some new motion templates. And as I talk about the quick keys, you're going to see some new pop-ups that display the quick key commands. For both Mac and Windows. All right, so let's get into it. We're going to move through the beginning ones pretty quickly because they're pretty basic. And then I'll take a little bit more time as we get into some of the more complicated ones. All right, so the first one we are going to start with is Select All, which is Command A. So Command A, Select All, you can see we have the marching ants around our image, and that is selecting everything in the image. Now the opposite of that is Command D, which is Deselect. So I'm going to hit Command D and deselect, and that is going to deselect anything that is selected. So if I came in here and I just made a quick lasso selection around her face and I needed to deselect that, Command D once again will deselect that image. Now when you make a selection, you can either add to a selection or subtract from a selection. If you want to add from a selection, and this doesn't have to just be the lasso, it really has to do with any selection inside of the program. If you hold the Shift key and add to the selection, it is going to add. And if you hold the Alt or Option key and go into your selection, it is going to subtract from the selection. So if I wanted to remove this selection from her hand, I'm going to hold either that Alt or the Option key, depending on whether you're on a Mac or Windows. Select that, and that is going to subtract from the selection. Now we're going to move away from selection, so I'll hit Command D to deselect. Now, if you ever zoom in or need to zoom in, there's a couple different ways to zoom in. One is Command plus. So Command plus, Command or Control plus will allow you to zoom in to your image. Command or Control minus will let you zoom out. So that is the way you can do it. Now on a lot of mice, you can actually scroll to zoom in and zoom out as well. But we're just going to be going over keyboard shortcuts today. So I'm going to hit Command plus to zoom in. And if you need to navigate or move the image, there is the hand over here. And if you click the hand, it gives you the hand and it allows you to move the image around. Now that's kind of a pain in the neck. You can also use the quick key in which you hold the space bar. The space bar automatically selects this hand and now will allow you to move your image around. So that is the space bar to bring up the hand to move your image around. Now, if you are zoomed in like this and you want to automatically zoom back out to fit the window, it is Command 0. Command 0 will automatically fit to window and zoom your image back out and fit your image inside of your window. Now, one of the more popular keys and probably one of my most used is Undo, which is Command Z. So that will undo the last thing that you did. So notice that right now, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to make a selection. And then I'm going to deselect it and I'm going to be like, oh, I wish I didn't deselect that. I can hit Command Z to undo what I just did. Now, if you want to go back in time, meaning you want to undo, 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 you just keep hitting Command Z and that will take you back in time each step. It's the same as using the history. So if we come up here, and we notice we have history, and you're going to select history right here. So we're going to go ahead and bring this up. So what I'm going to do is take my selection down here, and you're going to watch. I'm going to hit Command Z, and it's going to go back in time. Command Z, Command Z, Command Z, Command Z. So that's taking me back in time. Click back on my history here. Now we're going to hit Command Z once. And notice we've done that. If you want to redo what you just did, it's Command Shift Z. So Command Shift Z will redo. So I'm going to hit Command Z, Command Z, Command Z to undo, and then Command Shift Z to redo in Command Shift Z, Command Shift Z, Command. As you can see, each time it's going one step further up the history palette. So right here, we have the foreground and the background colors. So I'm just gonna go ahead and make this bright color so we can see something different other than black and white. To make your default colors, which are gonna be black and white, you're just gonna hit the letter D on your keyboard, and that's gonna bring up your default colors. Now you can flip your foreground and your background color right here. And that little flippy flop arrow will make black become your foreground and white become your background if you click on it. So if I click on that, notice we're just flipping those colors. You can also hit the letter X. So if you hit the letter X on your keyboard, you're flipping your colors, background and foreground. So you're wondering, like, why would I do this? Well, a lot of times when you're painting into a mask, so this mask isn't active, but we'll just go ahead and activate it. Now, what if I want to bring the color back in the flowers? Well, the opposite color is black. If I'm on white, all I got to do is hit X, and then I get that color, and I can easily come up here and paint in. If I go out too far, I just hit X. I don't even have to look down on my keyboard, and I can paint that back out. It lets you flip between your foreground and your background colors. We're going to go ahead and turn that back off just so it's not too complicated. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and copy something in this image. So I'm going to go ahead and just take this and select the picture. And we're going to copy her hand for no apparent reason. I have made a selection. To copy that, which is Edit, Copy, you're going to hit Command C. Command C is copy. Command V is in Victor, is paste. So now I can move this and you can see that paste command pasted that image a second time and created a new layer. Command C is copy and Command V is paste. And one thing that you'll learn a lot of times, you're trying to copy a whole image. So you're going to use something like Command A, Command C, Command V to select all, copy, and then paste the image in a new location. We're going to go ahead and turn that back off and move on to the next quick key. So some of the quick keys that are really helpful in learning are from this toolbar, and they happen to be the tools that you use a lot. So instead of coming up here to click on it, you can easily hit the quick key. So if you look at this little pop-up, it says Move Tool, and then the letter V is in Victor. So we know that the quick key to get this on the keyboard is the letter V. If we go down to this, it's the letter L for lasso. It's going to be B for brush. So if I hit the letter B in this case, it's automatically moving to my brush tool. If I hit the letter L, it's going to move to my lasso tool. So if you ever need to find out what the quick keys are for specific tools in your toolbar, just hover over them. When the pop-up comes up next to what that tool is, it's going to give you a letter, and that letter corresponds with the keyboard, and that is your shortcut. Now, the next quick keys here are for non-destructive editing. And there's a few quick keys that I think people use all the time. We're not going to go over all of them, but these are going to be very quick. So the first one is going to be Command M, and that is going to bring up your curves. So that is Command M. Command L is going to bring up your levels. Command B brings up color balance, and Command U brings up hue saturation. Those are your non-destructive editing quick keys inside of Photoshop. Now, obviously there are more, but those are just the main ones that you're going to be using. A lot of times when you are working inside of layers and you have multiple layers, you need to group a layer. So the first quick key that we are going to learn is Shift. So to hit Shift, you use Shift to make multiple selections. So I selected the top image, and then if I want to select all the way down to here, I hold Shift and it's going to select everything in between. If I just want to select certain areas, if I don't want to select from here to here, and I just want to select maybe this one and this one, I'm going to hold that Command or Control key and click. And that is going to make a selection here and down here if I'd like. So the Command key lets you make an individual selection, and Shift selects everything in between. Now, if I want to group these and put these all inside of a group, we're going to hit Command G, which is group. And that is going to allow us to group a whole bunch of images together. That is the end of the first half of this video. Tomorrow, I will have the second.